It is the end of February, which means it is time for my February reading wrap up. I read 6 books this month. 3 of them were audiobooks, 3 of them were eyeball reads, and 1 of them was a digital book. So get yourself a cup of tea, get some snacks, and come and watch me yap about books for roughly 20 minutes. It is the 22nd of February. I have read 5 books so far this month, and I'm going to chat about them. The first book I read in February was Celestial Bodies, edited by Aiden Demmers. This is an anthology of short stories and other creative mediums, story mediums, I suppose. I read this for my book club. We had a short story prompt, and I adored this. It was one of those like sci-fi books that just remind you how good sci-fi is, why I love sci-fi, how great it can be, how queer it is and inherently always has been. It made me want to write sci-fi, it made me want to read more sci-fi. It was just delightful and so queer. This is a collection that really celebrates trans voices and trans bodies and trans love, and I just adored it. It is so joyful. I will quickly talk about some of my favorite ones. One of my favorite artworks is Help My Girlfriend is a Constellation by Annalise Jensen. This is also the cover art. I love it. I noticed a fun Easter egg on the back of the cover. I don't know if you can see it here, but I know that the artist Annalise Jensen loves Locktomb. I have lots of Locktomb art from her. So I'm wondering if she has stuck a sneaky little Locktomb book in there. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but I choose to believe that these beautiful queer people here love the Locktomb, because look at them. They would. Another favourite was Saturn's Glow by Dawn Tasker. This was just absolutely delightful. This one was really great because it is almost like reclaiming ownership and reclaiming feeling joyful in your own skin, and you are the only one who can own that joy, no one else. And it was just great. But it was also, it's just really poignant and just lovely, and really made me feel the feelings. Another favourite was Like Clockwork by Aiden Demmers. This is their story in the collection. They edited the collection, but Like Clockwork is their actual story. This was such a romantic story, and it was so full of yearning. So full of yearning. Also, the main character's name is Ellie, which is my daughter's name, so it gets an extra brownie point for that. I also really loved the blackout poetry in this, called The Rising Moons of Artemis by Constance Mueller-Herring, and it starts off with like just a collection of prose that don't really make much sense together, but it was very beautiful. And then throughout the book there's these, I don't know if you can see them, these black sections, and when you go to them, the words that you know we're using for the poem are highlighted, and it's just so interesting, and I really loved it. And I would highly recommend, if you enjoy sci-fi, if you love sci-fi, or if you want to read a really different, unique short story collection, and this one. I also read Salt Slow by Julia Armfield this month, which was another short story collection, and I just fuck hard with Julia Armfield's writing. She has such like a quietly unsettling prose that carries through with all of her work, and it's just great and unsettling and creepy and just so lovely that like there's not much. It's just Julia Armfield manages to capture like the essence of humanity in so few words that it just like steals the breath from you, and I just loved it. I can't remember the names of them, but I will quickly put here what my favorite stories in the collection were. I really, really loved the first one. I really loved it. And then there was another one about a dog that I also really loved. And there was another one that I also really loved. Which was about the ocean, which Julia Armfield, like, just does so well. I adored it. And I listened to the audiobook of this one as well, which is narrated by Kristen Atherton. And I love Kristen as a narrator. She captures the voice of the character so well and is just so lovely. She is just so lovely to listen to speak. It just, I had a really, really great time reading Salt Slow. And I definitely need to pick up Julia Armfield's other novel, Private Rights, soon. I own it, and I have not yet read it, Story of My Life. But this has definitely made me want to read more of her words because I just love her writing so much. And then I read Crocodile Tears by Ali K. Mulford. This is book 4 in the Prickle Island Zoo series, and this one follows Dove and Deacon. And I always love Ali's books, but this one was just like so fun. It was so fun, and Dove and Deacon bantering, and they're just both so nerdy, which is so fun and not something you usually see in a rom-com either. I loved it. I always love it. I just think that Ali manages to like hit my rom-com once in a novel. It was just so fun, and I think I really love seeing the other characters from the earlier books and their like happily ever afters taking place in the background. It just makes me so happy. It just makes me smile and kick my feet. And I just adored it. I think that Dove is such a great character. She is complex and so intriguing, and it's a little bit mysterious because you're wondering what's happened between Dove and Deacon, because they were childhood best friends, and it's just I just love it. I have nothing else to say except that I love it, and that I am perpetually excited for the next book in this series. My next book was A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. I have been putting this bad boy off since it came out because I was saving it because I knew I was gonna love it, and I did love it. Surprise, surprise. But I am actually kind of glad I waited, because I did have that like fear of what if it's not as good as I piped it up to be in my head. And now that it's been 2 years since this came out, 2 years I think, the hype around it has faded a little bit, and it just let me like enjoy it on my own terms. I love it. I think that Samantha Shannon's fantasy is like the world building is on another level. The world is so crisp and clear, and I feel like I'm right there with every character. We follow a lot less characters in this than we did in Priory of the Orange Tree as well. And I did actually really enjoy getting to sit with some of them a little bit more. I adore Glorian. She is just like the bravest person I've ever met in my entire life, and she needs a hug. She needs the biggest hug. Someone needs to give her a hug. Jennifer and Esper are just so full of love and devotion for each other, and then I got to thinking about how Aiden is Esber's great however many granddaughter, and that technically Sab is Tuniva's great however many granddaughter, and then they fall in love, and it's like Tuniva and Esber's love is like reincarnated almost in a weird way, and I thought too much about that. Demai and Nikea, though, oh my god, their arc had me like frothing. I was just, the whole thing in general, not just their romance, it is such a tragically beautiful part of the story, and I just think it's so fascinating how so much of this sets up the events of Priory of the Orange Tree. And I will 100% be rereading Priory of the Orange Tree next month, I think. I'm going to do the audiobook because I did this as a tandem with the audiobook. It was a 39-hour audiobook. It was a mammoth, a behemoth, a big girl. But I did it, and I'm so proud of myself. Priory still holds a higher place in my heart. But in saying that, I did really love this, and I am extra excited for Sam Chan's new book coming out this year, Among the Burning Flowers. And it'll be interesting to see how big that one is, because I don't know if Samantha is... Okay.
I'm going to see myself.
I don't know if Samantha Shannon is capable of writing something that is not a behemoth. In terms of fantasy, I know that the Bone Season series is not as beefy. Speaking of, she also has the next book in that series coming out. So it's a big year for Sam Shan books. I really need to read the next book in that series too. I also briefly forgot that I had met Samantha Shannon and got the sign. So when I opened it and saw it, I was like, I forgot, just for a heartbeat. And then I remembered when I opened it, and it made me so extra happy to be reading it because I loved Priory of the Orange Tree so much. And it's just so, it was an honor to be back in this world and fall in love with a new cast of characters. And then I read Scythe and Sparrow by Brynne Weaver. This is the third and final book in the Ruinous Love trilogy. And I just really, really vibe with Brynne Weaver's writing style. It is just so sardonic and funny, and just really speaks to the part of me that loves dark humor and that, loves hot women killing people. I think Scythe and Sparrow, if I was ranking the trilogy, Butcher and Blackbird and Leather and Lark are pretty tied. I really love different things about each of them. And then Scythe and Sparrow is just a little bit under, but I just really, really enjoyed it. And the audiobook for all of these is phenomenal. They are a next level audiobook. They're duet narration, and honestly, I am kind of ruined for audiobooks that aren't a duet narration now. The audiobook really enhances the experience. It makes it for me, I think. I'm excited to see what Brynne Weaver has out next. What else she has up her sleeve, if you will. A little teaser at the end, I think. I really, really loved Rowan's epilogue at the end, though. It just made me it made you feel a little bit nostalgic, and actually kind of made me want to reread Butcher and Blackbird. And it was just nice. As nice as books about serial killers falling in love can be, and also ruining many different foods. But I will say the food ruining in this one was way more tame than the previous two books. I can 100% still eat cotton candy and sausages. So it is the end of February, and I have only read one more book since my last update, and that book was a secret. I cannot tell you about it except that I loved it, and for reasons unknown, you should keep July on your release radars. Anyway, I did really love it. I wish I could talk about it because there's a lot that I really love about it. I am super excited about it. and I know that it is going to be loved deeply. That is it. I will talk about the books that I've been currently reading because I've been kind of filtering through a few of them. I am about halfway through the second book in the Raybearer duology, Redemptor, and I am really enjoying it. There's lots going on that is really interesting, and I am so excited and scared to find out what happens with the end of it. I am also about a third of the way through The Safekeep by Yael Van Doornen. This was recommended to me by my friend Ali, and I absolutely adore it so far. It is absolutely fantastic. The tension is like bite-worthy. I am loving it. The prose is decadent and lovely. So like just the right amount of words, if that makes any sense to anyone. I just adore it. And I don't sense that changing unless something wild happens in the second half. This was on the Booker shortlist last year, I believe. I can see why it is so loved, because the writing in this is just divine. The characters are divine, they're so compelling and so rich.
Hi, Mom.
It is just so compelling, and I am really excited to finish it. I don't know what March has in store for me yet, but we will see. It's my birthday month this month. I'm going to treat myself to a couple of rereads, I think. I know that I'm going to reread Prior of the Orange Tree after I finished A Day of Fallen Night last month. It's the 2nd of March when I'm filming this little bit, so last month. So I'm going to reread that. I'd like to reread a couple of more favourites that just as a little treat, but I also do need to make my way through my colossal TBR. That is it from me. What did you guys read this month? What was your favourite book? What are you currently reading? Tell me all of your secrets.